Did you know that for this movie, in September of 2017, this movie grossed over $1 billion worldwide, becoming the only movie released in the summer of 2017 to do so, and also becoming the year's third highest grossing movie. So the Despicable Me movies are just always so much fun to watch. You know, we got Gru, we got the Minions, we got additional characters coming in, so it's always so much fun just to sit back, enjoy, have a good laugh when it comes to these kinds of movies. I have a lot of good things to say about this movie. There are some negative things I have to say, but I will save those for the end of the review. First thing I liked about this movie is I liked how they're starting to move towards more of a family aesthetic. We have Gru and Lucy are together. You know, they're taking care of the three girls now, and Lucy is trying to become a part of the family, get used to being a mom to three crazy kids and, you know, being a faithful wife to Gru. And it was just really nice to see that she gets a lot more screen time in this movie. Despicable Me too, she got some good amount of screen time too, but this movie, you know, we get to see another side to her, and it just really added a really good family feel to the movie. Honestly, the Minions stole the show in this movie. I know Gru's like the main character, but honestly the Minions, every single time they're on the screen, they steal the show. My two favorite Minions moments were when they were on like that singing contest and they did the Modern Major General song, just completely ad-libbed it, and then the jail scenes were really funny too. The Minions just add so much humor to this movie. I mean, whoever came up with the idea of the Minions, just brilliant. Like, one guy who voices like all of them is really funny and really creative. And then there's like the funny things to do with the languages they speak to. I know most of their language is made up, but there is certain times that you can pick out what they're saying because they do speak Spanish at times and maybe a couple of other languages they throw in there. But the Minions are just so freaking hilarious, and no matter how old I get, the Minions just always make me laugh and smile. And then there's a fun villain in this movie. He's centered all in the 80s, and I'm a huge 80s fan. I love everything about the 80s, you know. The clothes, the music, you know, the culture, everything about it. So having a villain that's centered on, you know, what all the 80s were about, it's pretty fun to see. You know, he does dance battles, you know, got really great 80s music going, and just how he was an 80s star and then he was rejected by Hollywood, and his whole motive of revenge, you know, is to get the recognition that he deserves. Adding like the 80s feel into this movie, super fun to see, super enjoyable. And it was really funny too. I mean, he had some really funny moments between him and Gru. I mean, even his name, Balthazar Brat, I mean, what kind of name is that? Like, he's just a very fun villain to see in this movie. I'd say the things that I didn't like about this movie is I thought the storyline was pretty average. Compared to the first two movies, the storyline was not as strong, it was a little weak. I get that, you know, when you have a third movie, it's hard to keep material going, like it's hard to come up with new material. So the storyline is pretty cut and dry, pretty basic. And then you have Drew and Gru dynamic, where Gru has a long lost twin brother that he never knew about. I think that's kind of a move of desperation, where if you run out of material, oh well, let's just make Gru have a twin brother, name him Drew, and then we can keep the story going. I just find that to be kind of a lazy way of going about a movie, and I felt the dynamics between Gru and Drew were funny at times, for the most part. I honestly didn't enjoy it. I didn't think Drew was funny at all. They're both voiced by Steve Carell. I just didn't think that Drew was super funny. And then there's a lot of forced humor in this movie, unfortunately. Like the first two movies, super hilarious. I didn't feel like anything in that movie was forced. I felt like in this movie though, a lot of the forced humor came from Drew and Gru and being in Fredonia and all that whole atmosphere. I felt a lot of the humor there was offsetting, not super good. Just they're trying to get Drew's character across the screen, make him lovable, so they're adding all these funny moments, and they really weren't as funny as people probably thought they were. But overall, this is still a fun movie to watch. It's one of those movies you can just sit back with your family and your friends and just have a good time, you know? So for Despicable Me 3, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 Mudflaps, and remember to leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. Who's your favorite character from Despicable Me? See you next time.